I also love that any airport you go into at 7 a.m., the bar is it's full.
And there's never any judgment there.
It doesn't matter. There's no judgment in an airport. It's a judgment-free zone. It's 7 a.m. I'm having a beer. Welcome to Restaurant 365 Presents Behind the Numbers, a show where we talk to restaurant owners, operators, chefs, CFOs, and everyone in between about what makes successful restaurants tick. Before we get started, quick reminder to like and subscribe to the show wherever you're tuning in. Please consider leaving a review. It really does help us bring you all of our amazing guests and conversations, as well as continue to grow and support this amazing restaurant community of ours. And with that, I'm your host, Marc Cohen.
And I'm Rich Sweeney. And we're excited today to be here with Villa Restaurant Group Controller Michael Leemann. Now, we're going to let Michael tell us all about himself in a second, but he's a humble guy, and I want to make sure that we get to call out that Michael and VRG have won Restaurant 365's inaugural Customer Excellence Award late last year for unifying their accounting, inventory, scheduling, and purchasing all on one platform. It's increased their visibility and their profitability across all their brands. It's just incredible stuff. All right. Michael, I'll stop. You go ahead. Tell us about yourself.
No, you do a much better job than I ever would. So I appreciate it.
We'll add the Academy music and the awards cheer in post, I promise.
Okay. Appreciate that. No, it was a great experience, and we're honored to be recognized by Restaurant 365. So it's a great tool and really appreciate it.
And Michael, what is your background before VRG? What's your restaurant story?
Yeah, so I actually didn't come from a restaurant background. I was in logistics. So I had done that my whole career and joined now VRG 6 years ago. So that was really my first experience getting into the restaurant industry.
From logistics to restaurants.
Yeah, 6 years in, are you wondering, what have I done?
No, it's
a crazy business.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, in logistics, a lot of it, customer service aspects of it, really
True.
bode well for, comparison.
All right, well, let's dig into this.
Yeah. So, Michael, we always like to start out with one big question. We like to ask everybody, what's the single most important thing that you think your leaders should be focused on for store operations or finance? What's something that they should always be keeping in mind?
Yeah, for us, it's guest experience, right? I mean, we're trying to drive sales. We're trying to utilize tools, technology as much as we can to alleviate those pain points for our team, both at the store level and corporate here. But it's focused on the guest.
We are hearing that a lot. I feel like that's the theme for 2026. It's the year of the guest experience, because that you are not the first person to give that answer recently. And it makes sense, right? I mean, that's sort of, we've got our cogs in line, we've got our labor in line. The only other thing we can do is increase that top line revenue. So, we really got to double down on what's happening within the four walls. And of course, this is a podcast about numbers. So I've got some crazy numbers that I want to talk about here. You've got 85 locations. You've got 28 concepts. How many employees do you have?
So we're just over 1,800 employees for the group.
Wow. And then I know a big part of your business is pizza. How many slices of pizza have you sold year to date?
Yeah, so just after getting to 25, we did 1.8 million. It's a lot of pizza.
A lot of zon.
That's a lot of pepperoni. That's a lot going on.
Amazing. And then another stat you shared with us that I thought was amazing. You guys, we're going to talk about your businesses. You're in destination malls. You're in airport. You've got a Starbucks at Newark Terminal that's doing 151 drinks per hour.
Yeah,
which is just insane to me. Talk about throughput.
Yeah, it's number 2 in the North American portfolio. So,
wow,
damn.
And then you're also in the Shake Shack business, and you've purchased year to date. I want to say you said about 176,000 pounds of meat.
Yeah. It's a lot of burgers, and probably more than that. We opened a JFK location recently that has been doing really high volume. So,
but VRG as a company, the Villa Restaurant Group, has been around since the 60s. Can you give us a little background on how this started? It hasn't always been this mega super growth focused company. Where did it all begin?
Yeah, it all started in 1964 in New York City with one pizzeria next to the Ed Sullivan Theater. And it remains family owned by the same family 61 years later. So
that's awesome. It's incredible, actually.
Yeah, pretty remarkable. So lucky to be a part of it.
And are they still involved with the sort of the culture and the you know the employee of the company? Are they still day to day or?
Yeah, 100%. So
Wow, that's
yeah,
amazing.
CEO and president of the company, very involved in the day to day in local operations, and so it's been a great part of being part of the Phila group.
I mean, I feel like with it being family owned, it's like you're a part of the family, quite literally for a group that's been around that long. I guess, so how did you become, go from logistics to joining the family? I guess what was your way of getting into the group?
Yeah, so well, it's just by lucky opportunity. They had a need for a controller. At the time, they were going through some changes, looking to bring on some more technology. I fit the bill, not being from restaurant, but really having that experience with different systems and processes. So it was the right place, the right time.
And when you got there, how far into their R365 journey were they? Because VRG has been using our software for quite some time.
Yeah, so 2018, they had converted just from the accounting side. So they had already migrated to R365. We were using it as the accounting platform at that time. We still had some legacy systems in place for reporting and things. So that's really what was status when I came on.
So State of the Union, when you arrived, sort of, we've got accounting in place with R65. We're using some other disjointed systems. Did you have sort of an agenda, or were you just still trying to get, figure out, because R365 you weren't using that for your logistics career. This was a brand new software and industry for you. How was that in terms of a learning curve for you?
Yeah, so I think I got up to speed quickly. But yeah, learning the system, learning our structure as an organization, how we want to look at the business, how we can best set that up within R365. At that point, my main focus was eliminate our tech stack, get it all in one system, have one source of truth. So that was really my objective and continues to be my objective. And part of what the Customer Excellence Award is our further, extension of bringing on the ops module and having everything in one place.
Absolutely, because you guys only rolled out operations with us. What was that? 24?
Yeah. So 2024, we started with, and we did a phased approach with the operations module. We really started with AP, really foundationally getting all the invoices, vendor invoices in there, purchasing by item, EDI, etc. So really started with that, then inventory, and started building on with recipes and so on. And then early in 2025, January 25, we started with the labor module as well.
So now you've got everything rolled out
We have
across the board, which is amazing.
Yeah, and it's been great for this year. I mean, really is now expanding on that, getting to theoretical. Also, we have the intelligence module as well. So now leveraging all that data with a reporting tool that we can then automate. Have different dashboards and KPIs that are easily accessible, but can be automated and sent. So give our leadership team and field team the data they need at their fingertips.
And it's funny you mentioned AP, and I was just having this conversation with somebody where I said, look, this inventory process, it starts and stops with AP, right? If you get it wrong at the beginning of that journey of that item, it's just a domino effect. And I can't tell you how many times I say that to people. And they're like, hey, what are you talking about? I want to focus on counting my inventory and getting my AVT. And I'm like, yeah, if you don't get it right on the receiving end, the rest of it doesn't matter. You've done all this work for nothing. So I love that you guys decided to start there and really get dialed in. And in a year, you were able to implement this across 85 locations and 28 concepts, which is just like, that's mind blowing to me.
We figured go for it all at once. It was, again, getting the foundation of it is critical. So doing that work. And you're right. I mean, having those items set up properly and completely is critical. But yeah, at that point, it was, we'll go for it all. It's easier to roll out with the group at different levels. So let's just go for it all.
That's awesome.
I like it. Got to rip the Band-Aid off, rip it off and replace it. Something else.
Go big or go home, right? So now you've got everything rolled out, everything's humming, everything's working in R365. So after this first year, what sort of takeaways are there? What's the ROI looking like? What have sort of been your immediate wins?
Yeah, so a lot of it's been on the purchasing side. I mean, that was where we had visibility of our items. We brought in the contracts as well. So been able to replace a third party there to bring it all in house and use R365 for all of our rebates and contract violation reporting as well. Just with the API, the EDI side on the AP, we've been able to, reposition people to support that as well, and support the recipe side of things. So kind of change their job out of accounts payable as well. So that's been great. And then just continue to leverage all the data and insights. But purchasing has been probably the biggest and quickest win for us for sure.
And as a CFO, you're happy to see your balance sheet, your inventory levels are dropping, right? That's
Yeah.
that's your go-to. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. It's always nice to see that number come down, and it's come down significantly, has it not?
Yeah, it has.
Yeah, that's amazing. And so this all gets us to our favorite topic on the podcast, the AVT. I feel like we always talk about this report, Rich.
We do. And it's one of those things too, where it's like, I don't know, it's like the gold standard for operations, right? Like you've got the P&L is your lifeblood on everything that's happening in the restaurant, but specifically on the financial side. And then for the AVT, for the operators, is like, that's the one that I got to nerd out on and really see, how was I doing? How was my team doing? Getting, down to the details of all the products themselves. I mean, you mentioned before that AVT has been critical for you guys. I mean, what are some of the things that you're seeing? How are you seeing some improvements with bringing the AVT from R365?
Yeah. So we kind of combine it. We look at it, I want to say a little different, but, holistically, I think, with our menu item analysis and seeing profitability of items, getting that with the AVT report as well, making sure our inventory's in compliance, making sure our purchasing is in compliance. So we kind of take a holistic view and combine all of those things. But really the AVT report, I mean, getting the insights to that operationally and being able to see that every time you count and where you could be, losing or winning, is definitely critical to running the business and optimizing the business.
And you mentioned something there. You're doing something a little unique where you're combining the AVT with the menu item analysis report, right? Yep. Those two reports are sort of working in tandem for your group.
Yeah. So, I mean, the way we're looking at it is what is our sales mix? What is the profitability of those items? So really that's how we're measuring it and see who the top winners are, where we have opportunities as well. So we look at it with all of those combined. And we're doing that on a period basis. And again, we're using the intelligence tool to leverage that and really make it simple for our teams for visibility and sorting and tracking of it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, because I have to imagine, right? You're across 12 different states, yep. All of these locations, like having that consolidated level of reporting is, I mean, it's critical. I don't know how you operate without that.
Yeah. Yeah. And, it's the stores, it's multi-units. We look at that by venue, and then it's by division, it's by region, et cetera. So there's multiple layers there. And then getting it to a corporate and ownership level as well is critical, and being able to consume that data in a way that makes sense and really pinpoint issues or opportunities and really be able to get to what's driving the business.
Absolutely. You guys are, I mean, primarily a lot of airports, which I know from my friends that work in food service and airports, they're super simple to work with, really easy, no hoops to jump through. I mean, I guess what's your experience been over there?
Yeah, so the airports, it's been really our growth recently and been our focus and strategy. So JFK is, what I mentioned earlier, we have 5 QSR restaurants there, 2 being Starbucks. And one the Shake Shack, but it's difficult. I mean, employee and staffing is difficult across the restaurant industry. It's definitely unique there in the airports as well, with some other obstacles in there. But once you get in there, it's really also the storage is pose a different kind of issue where you don't have the storage behind the storefronts. It's off-site, and some of those logistics and being able to bring the food to the place that it needs to be and store it and count it and all those things. Definitely. And that's having R365 in a tool that can work offline, can work with multiple users. They can count different storage areas. Really makes it powerful.
I think Rich and I both just connected the same dot of like, well, yeah, we're opening restaurants and airports. Of course, we need a logistics guy. Like, it just makes sense now, right?
Exactly. As I thought about it more and more, I'm like, yeah, no, I would want somebody, because again, the friends of mine that work in airports have all told me like the horror story of like, they've got to go all the way up to this spot to go get things from storage. And then by the time they come back to bring it back in, then like, oh, I didn't get, it's like the worst trip to the walk-in that you ever had, right? Like you realize you forgot something way too late. Yep. So yeah, logistics guy makes sense.
Yeah.
And then just getting to work. Like, well, I probably got to park way off site, shuttle in, go through security, get like, it's a lift for sure.
Yeah, it is.
And I feel like more and more there's been like, I don't know, I've seen different things at airports trying to, kind of focus on different restaurants and kind of like the healthier side of restaurants and things like that. I guess, have you guys been seeing that in any of the airports that you're working in?
Yeah, I think airports are the same, similar focus as us to the guest experience, right? They want all options. So they want from healthy all the way to not and everything in between. So there's a lot of competition once you're in there as well.
And I always go into the airport with the idea of I'm going to be healthy. And then I get into the airport and immediately my brain's like, is there something bad for me close by? I should probably have that just in case I'm stuck on the plane for a while.
Exactly.
I also love that any airport you go into at 7 a.m., the bar's it's full.
And there's never any judgment there.
It doesn't matter. There's no judgment in an airport. It's a judgment-free zone. It's 7 a.m. I'm having a beer. It doesn't matter. But one of the things that we talked about earlier was there's a Healthy Terminal Act. Can you talk a little bit about that? What's happening, especially for your organization?
Yeah. So recently in New Jersey had implemented it back in 2021, but really it's to fair wages. They really want the employees to be covered with health insurance and all that. New York State just implemented it as well as of January 1st, 26. So it will be in the New York airports as well now. So it's really making sure, that they're paid a fair wage and also covered in benefits is really the main goal of it.
That's awesome. I think that's important.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then in addition to airports and sort of travel hubs, you guys are all sort of focused on, I know your portfolio was pretty mall heavy, and I think COVID has sort of shifted some of that around, but it feels like the mall as we know it is sort of dying at this point. But now we have these like destination malls. I feel like in LA they have the Grove or the Americana or these giant outdoor. It's not just a place to shop; it's a place to eat. It's a place to go and be seen. It's a place to hang. Has that been a successful market for you to get into?
Yeah, and to your point with COVID, I mean, really we took that as I won't say an opportunity, but a way to restructure, rethink where we are, and really shrink our footprint to the 12 states that you mentioned before. But we're still in those destination places, the outlets, where really, you're getting a good amount of foot traffic. But yeah, there's some good performing malls around the country that we're still in. But yeah, a lot of them, unfortunately, have not survived.
Yeah.
You just slightly scrambled my brain when you said we shrunk down to the 12 states. Right. So now I'm just thinking about the malls and the airports and the different states and all of the different moving parts, like just jockeying and juggling all of it must be insane for you and your team. So it's great to hear that you guys have been able to find the right set of tools with us, but just in general, that can help make it a lot easier for you guys to function, operate, and continue to grow, because I know you guys have been, doing more as well. So it's not just like shrinking, it's actually kind of rebounding back as well.
Yeah. No, and honestly, R365, when I was looking for options and when we decided to expand with the operational side, we did test out and we started using Fourth hot schedules at that time, and there were struggles there. I think the ease and what R365 is really simple and easy to use. Again, having all your data at one point, one source that you can then leverage all of that insight is really critical. So it's been huge for our teams, and honestly, with the expansion and all of that, it hasn't added at all to our headcount, and I don't see it with our current.
That's huge.
Yeah, with our current expansion as well.
That's,
So
I love hearing that.
Yeah.
Right. Fully scalable.
exactly.
And so I want to talk a little bit about, so you've rolled out scheduling. You do something a little unique with how you're doing scheduling, something called, you call it bid scheduling?
Yeah. So with the airports, again, some of the locations are unionized. So there are some things where there's tenure that comes into play, where you have to then schedule out 3 months in advance on some of them. So it's pretty expensive.
Forget the brain scramble before that. The 3 months out on the schedule,
Right.
3 weeks used to make me crazy, let alone 3 months.
Yeah. Rich doesn't know what he's doing next week.
No, I don't even know what city I'll be in next week.
Yeah. We have
3 months.
Yeah, we have an amazing team that's able to handle that. So
yeah, that's a big lift. But I like that, there's a tenure basis to it. And so there's incentive for, helping reduce turnover there, right? The longer you're working, the better your, access to a schedule that you want to work is becomes available. I think that's a good carrot.
yeah, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So, it's a new year, it's 2026. What's our big theme this year is transforming your organization. What's on the agenda for VRG? How are you going to transform VRG this year?
Yeah, so we're going to continue to leverage all the tools that we talked about. Really, for us, the part of the labor scheduling that we didn't implement was the optimization, which is going to be on the agenda for 2026. And then the buzzword that continues is AI, and continue to do that, and how we can leverage that, and really all phases of our business and at all levels as well. So, and again, using the data from our 365 makes it critical that it's in a format that we can, use across teams as well. So, that's really what we're focused on for 26.
What are some of the AI things that you are kind of most interested or most leaning towards? I mean, I don't think we've made it through a single episode of this entire podcast, without bringing up AI. So I guess for you guys, what are some of the things that you're excited for, you're looking forward to kind of getting into the fold to help drive some efficiency for y'all?
Yeah. So for us, I mean, the first thing is really menu engineer, menu placement, our menu boards at the QSRs. And also at the full service restaurants that we have here in New Jersey. So really that's, I said, initial steps and what we've been looking at. We have now started to play around with really the labor side of things and building schedules, and also keeping, getting a different perspective on trends and what's going on. So it can do it a lot faster and a little more broader than we do anecdotally at locations. So it's a good tool to give you some ideas as well to try.
See, now my gears are spinning a little bit. Okay, so I want to take one of your menus, let's say a full service. I want to put that into AI. Then I want to take our menu item analysis report, put that into AI. And then I wanted to see, okay, tell me where I should be placing stuff on this menu, right? Yep. Where should this go? Where should that go? There's an art to that. Yep. For sure.
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely.
So we've been doing that, and then obviously just tracking what's selling, what's not. What we're purchasing. How can we improve profitability from that standpoint? So.
Yeah, I think that's our next frontier in terms of just as an industry, right? We've talked about this before, Rich. AI is not going to. This is still a people person business first, hence hospitality.
Absolutely.
But for us, I think AI is really going to allow us to, all this data we have, just mine those insights. So I don't need to go look at that purchasing report anymore to figure out what's wrong with it. It's just going to tell me.
Yeah.
Take the analysis out.
100%. It's going to, simplify the admin task, automate the admin task that can then be done by a human and executed, and really take, your restaurant and your business to the next level.
Yeah, being able to look at it from the menu perspective, from the people perspective, right? Like thinking about when you do people's annual reviews. I remember being a restaurant manager. I hated trying to do annual reviews because it's like this person works AM, I work PM. I have to try to write a review for them and I'm going off somebody else's notes. But instead now I've seen some groups taking, kind of all the different info they have, dumping it into AI and having it pull out what are some, really great things that we've seen, some things that we want them to be working on. And it also takes some of that bias out that, like, if there's a personality clash, it helps, kind of just pull all that information out to the front and center so that you really make sure you're putting your employees in the front of that focus.
When it's data driven, it's not gut driven or emotionally driven, right? Which is, it's a very slippery slope when it comes to HR and employee reviews. You don't want to go there.
Yeah.
But I like that idea too, Rich. I didn't even think of it. Like, here's this employee's, server report for the past year. It's going to analyze check averages against its peers. It's going to look at in and out times. How often were they late? Were they not late? Like, you start going down a rabbit hole here, and it's like, what the possibilities are sort of endless.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
Yeah, just keep thinking of all those things that I used to have to do manually, and that now, like, you can just take all of that data and drop it into a model and have it be able to, spin you out a really pretty PowerPoint. Like, think about giving folks in the kitchen a raise, and what is that going to look like if I do one or for everybody, and how that is, and
labor.
Being able to things that I used to have to sit there, and I'm not the greatest when it comes to Excel. I was the kitchen guy just sitting in the office with the 2-finger typing, trying to figure out how to make it work. So
that's right.
now
this is how chefs type, right?
This is how chefs type, right? It's all this for tickets and this for typing. But everything else we do is all like fluid and fun. But yeah, just being able to see some of those improvements now, it's been a really great thing to see, the restaurant business itself finally adopting technology and now leaning into it even more so, where like we were late to adopt it and now we're running with it to really drive efficiency.
We were the last industry to adopt it. Michael, you talked about contract pricing being super critical, and I feel like there's an opportunity there for AI immediately, right?
Yeah. And we have gotten there a little bit actually with analyzing our contracts and being able to format it to be importable in R365 so we can run the contract violation report. So we've utilized it in that way so far. But yeah, I think it definitely, and we've done it to, understand our purchasing and again, really control and make sure that we're following the purchasing that we should at every store.
Well, and I don't know if everybody caught it earlier, but you said you had been outsourcing that work to a third party?
Yeah.
That was reviewing your contract pricing for you?
Yeah. So historically, we had a third party that always managed our contracts, did all the analysis, and went back, produced the reports for us. So all that was brought in house. So all the contracts are now negotiated here, stored here, uploaded, and then brought back to the distributors, and all by in house.
Look at all that fat we trimmed with our 365. I love it.
And then, so now, besides, looking at tech for 2026, what else do you guys have on the docket? Any more additional growth? Kind of what are we going to be seeing coming out of VRG this year?
Yeah. So really for us, it's been the expansion in the airport. So I mentioned we have another 2 locations in JFK that will be opening in 26, another 5 locations in Orlando Airport.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so really interesting things. Construction underway in those projects, so getting ready for those and ramping up. So been really getting that set up in R365, training some of the new staff on some of the new tools that they have at their disposal, and getting ready for it.
2 million slices of pizza this year. That's my prediction.
Yeah,
we're going to crack the 2 million.
It's a good goal.
It's a great goal. I love measuring things in food. It's just, what's more fun than that, especially when it's pizza.
Yeah. Now I want pizza for dinner.
I think you can have that. I think we'd be remiss not to talk a little bit about the Customer Excellence Award, Michael, that you and VRG won this past year at our Restaurant Transformation Festival in San Diego. So you won for operations, but then you won overall. Right. So we had 3 categories. We had an accounting, an ops, and a workforce, and somebody won in each category, but you won holistically the entire for overall excellence. You're a year into ops and you won for operations. What does that tell you about your team and what they're doing? It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing. And we talked a little bit about it. You have a vision of what you're going to do, what the tool can provide. And it's a great tool that really has transformed how we operate at the store level, and that's really what we're looking for. Drive efficiency at all levels. Give us the data at one site, at one place, like I said, so we can leverage that and really get insights into the business. So, we're doing all those good things, and we have that drive to do it, not knowing what other people are doing out there as well. So very humbling to be recognized as an operational winner, and then definitely for the overall winner. So we do have a great team that's also, leveraging the tool as well. So it wouldn't be possible without them.
It's the people that make it happen.
100%. People make the difference.
Yeah, and to your point, nice to see how you sort of stack up against your peers, right? Like that was a pretty stacked. We had quite a few finalists in there, and this wasn't something we just picked out of a hat. We put you through some paces. Like we had interviews with you. We made you work for it a little bit, but it was
Yeah,
it's always fun to see what other people are doing as well as your own.
Yeah, 100%. And I love that. But yeah, it was a lot of questions to fill out, interviews to complete. So
we couldn't make it too easy for you.
Yeah, no, and it's great. And like I said, I knew we were doing good stuff, and I wanted to share that, if nothing else. So again, very, very humbled by what it turned out to be, and I love experiencing that at the RTTs, getting to meet the peers, talk about how they're utilizing the system, get some ideas from it, maybe steal some things, try out on ourselves. So no, it's great. So I love the camaraderie.
I mean, that's the best part about those events, right? It's I love getting FaceTime with users and my fellow employees because we're all scattered all over the country. But more for me, it's about users connecting with each other, right, and creating that community, because you can learn so much more from each other than obviously we have a ton we can learn from you as well. But that relationship is sort of special because everybody's doing something a little different.
Yeah.
It's not stealing it. You were just you were networking, and then you were inspired to take that idea and make it your own, or something like that. I don't. Exactly.
Well, it's all right.
Well, so it sounds like
I was going to say, I'm happy to share my ideas and thoughts as well. So
Michael's very active in our idea portal.
Try to be.
So it sounds like tech and culture are sort of the priority for 2026 for VRG.
Yeah. I mean, culture has never been really, a problem with us.
It's always been at the forefront.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, it's always been priority for us. I mean, the tech and, again, being able to have efficient processes in place and really have it in one place, so you're not signing into 5 different systems as well for our team, making it difficult for people at store level as well. So
reduce the friction.
Yeah,
as I like
100%.
It's super. Yeah, that's super critical.
If you make it easy for the folks who are the end users, the folks on the front line, make it simple and easy for them to be able to access it, you're going to find easy adoption all day. It's when it's, trying to go back to high school trigonometry and figure out how you just sign into something. That's where the 2-finger typing comes back. Takes me right back to that place. But yeah, you've got to make it simple for folks, get them to buy in.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say, change management's always hard. Change is always hard. So in any industry, that's one thing that has made it a lot easier, is just the ease of it with R365. 100%. The learning curve and how quickly they can pick up on it, and just the value they see. That's always, you get the buy-in with that. And we also, tried to include them as well. So just inclusion. We went through a proof of concept process with R365. So having them see that early days and bringing it on board was huge. So making them part of the process.
Super critical.
Yeah. Really helps.
Yeah, instead of just handing them, hey, here's this new thing, use it, right? You've really
figure that out.
Yeah, figure it out.
Exactly.
It's so important to make them part of that process so that they've got input, because they're going to be they're the ones using it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So if you don't have buy-in at the, it's funny, we talk about making things simple from an operator standpoint. Internally, I feel like we're always talking about like number of clicks. Like, how do we reduce this task to like fewer clicks and make it easier to get to? That's sort of our goal now.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking about the industry. We always like to talk about a hot take at the end of these episodes. Do you have a hot take on the restaurant industry, Michael? Something you love, something you hate, something you want to see come back?
No, I think AI for me has been really, I think the biggest focus, and what I see, hopefully 2026 improve efficiencies, at least for us and in the process. Maybe simplified menus is one. Really just try to execute on a high level, really hone that in to what's bringing value to the customer, and really give that overall guest experience is really the focus.
So that's some good focuses to have, right? Like a hot take doesn't have to be super controversial. It's just something that you think is really important. So I appreciate that one. And thank you so much for coming on and joining us today. For everybody who is listening or checking us out on YouTube, you can find Michael on LinkedIn, and you can find Vila's Restaurant Group on more than 28, almost 30 concepts across 12 states with God only knows how many more that are going to be coming out soon. You can find them on social media platforms, and you can also find them at vilarestaurantgroup.com.
Let's help them get to 2 million slices, people. And of course, thank you for joining us. We hope you have a great day, a great shift, a great quarter, a profitable Monday. Wherever you are, don't forget to like and subscribe to this podcast, wherever you're listening. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen. And you can follow us across all social media. We're on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. And of course, you can always visit us at restaurant365.com. Michael, thank you so much for your time today. We appreciate the insights and the crazy numbers.
Yeah, appreciate it. And thank you. Look forward to a great 2026.